guys. So I'm going to share a handout with you. Maybe? Oh, that's weird. Oh. Hold on, sorry. Alright, give me 2 seconds. Sorry.
Oh, that's all good.
I think
just drying off.
Okay. Alright.
You guys enjoy.
Yep, too. Welcome to the very first Prelude for Conan, Skulls and Shadows. This is my first time running 2d20 Conan, and this is very much a test run for me. I hope to be able to help you with the rules, but please have patience for any mistakes I may make. This story will help build the Skulls and Shadows campaign that I will be running soon, so your decisions matter. And now, onward to the game. Alright. I'm going to read you a little handout. 4 months ago, Lord Ranvir led an army of Shemites, Turanians, and mercenaries to the city-state of Shushan. With a rightful claim by birth, Ranvir laid siege to the city after a famine had ravaged the eastern Shem. The siege was not protracted, and 2 weeks ago, the king of Shem, Omar Shah, rode out of the city and met Ranvir's army on the field. The fighting was bloody but brief, as half-starved defenders folded quickly and were either put to the sword, fled, or threw themselves at the feet of the attacker. Today is 2 weeks later, and martial law has been enacted through Shushan. Ranvir, now styling himself a Khan, attempts to navigate the city-state that he had been removed from over a decade ago. Various factions vie for power and influence within the city, and each day brings greater dangers and political upheaval. Aiding Ranvir in his task of bringing peace to the newly conquered city are his brothers. Ranvir's brothers are no blood relation of his, but the brothers themselves are indeed each related by birth. Ranvir calls these four the Brothers of the Sands, while some call them Ranvir's dogs behind their backs. The brothers have followed Ranvir for many years on his righteous quest to regain Shushan as his own. Each participated in the siege and now are given places of high honor among Ranvir's court. The months ahead will be difficult, but if the Brothers of the Sands succeed in aiding the Khan control this place, certainly they will live the rest of their days rich and honored. Any questions so far?
No, sounds good. Yeah.
Right, 1 second, I need to do one thing. Okay, bear with me. Do you see yourselves?
Yep.
Yes.
Roll black. Okay.
Oh my, so many macros. Nice.
This day you have been summoned to Lord Ranvir's palace. And today you have come into that palace and are on the have been led into his banquet hall, which is currently lit poorly. So you sit around a large table, kind of waiting in the shadows as Ranvir is in the next room, and you can see in the next room he is speaking to a priestess of Ishtar. You all are fairly newcomers to this city, so you don't know everyone, and you certainly don't know this person. And through the darkness, you can see that she is a tall woman, early middle ages, perhaps 40, late 30s, and she stands before Ranvir, and they're talking slightly low. You can't really exactly hear what they're saying. So you guys feel free to kind of role play amongst yourselves as you wait for your audience.
Is this right after the battle that you spoke
Two
about,
two
or has a
weeks.
few
2
days?
week 2
2 weeks.
weeks. Mm-hmm.
What would you say we've been doing for those 2 weeks?
You have been. What do you think you've been doing?
Have we been helping him, like, find any insurgents per se, or trying to keep the peace
Sure.
about?
Sure, you've probably been helping to enact the martial law, helping in any way you can. But yeah, those all sound like valid things you could have been doing.
Yasser will look around at his 3 brothers and say, "It has been a good day, yes?
Yes, I suppose it has.
Is the city at peace? Are the people accepting the Khan?"
I'd like to see ones that don't accept the Khan.
Indeed, if they aren't, they're certainly not doing it in our sight.
Mm.
Yes, brother, because hopefully, like good little dogs, they know better.
Exactly.
True. But it should be, I feel, an iron hand in a velvet glove. Don't you not think that?
Vidal nods at that, but looks around impatiently.
We'll get our turn, brother, as soon as he's done talking to that woman.
And Yasser is kind of pacing, like, not frantically, but just pacing up and down, thinking about the day that it's kind of evening time, right? That's why
It's what you would consider dinner time.
dinner time.
It's very dark. It's actually quite cold outside because it is what you would consider winter.
Okay.
And in the winter in the desert is very cold at night. So
Yeah, so Yasser would be kind of pacing about, thinking about the day's events. He wants to help the Khan take control of Shushan and wants to do it in a way that leaves as little scars as possible.
Adi was simply kind of sitting back, relaxed in his chair, chewing on some dried meats. Quite flippantly relaxed.
To also add some more, I guess, context, Yasser is very well spoken, right? He of medium build. You would see that there's a scimitar, kind of what's the word, sheath, and he's carrying it on his left hip. He is a man of honor till honor is no longer necessary in order to win the fight, and his allegiance is strongly with the Khan. He'll do whatever it takes to make sure that the Khan stays in power. But above that lies the safety of his brothers and ensuring that their future is secure.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyone? Yeah, go ahead.
Rafik will look at Yasser. Brother, what bothers you?
It has been 2 weeks, and I still sense that something is not all right about Shushan. We may have taken the city, but I fear something moves. Something might be plotting against our Khan, and I cannot stand by idly.
Ah. Well, I welcome this because I love a good fight. Do you think that they will be so bold?
Those who are bold, Rafiq, I'm not so worried about them. I have you. But it's the ones who work in the shadows that I worry about. It's the ones that we cannot see till it's too late.
If you can't see him by then, it's not worth worrying about then, is it? If there's nothing you can do about it, then there's nothing to be done about it. Personally, I think the wine and the meats are quite good here, and I'm quite happy to relax and eat them until the problem arises.
Adib, I've told you so many times to not get swayed by the wine and the meats in front of you. Enjoy it, but keep an eye about you all the time.
Of course. But just because I'm keeping an eye out doesn't mean I can't enjoy myself.
Oh, do enjoy yourself, for it is victory that we have had. Definitely. Enjoy yourself. But I can't help but worry. You know me. It's the angles that worry me.
So as you guys are talking, you kind of notice Ranvir and the tall priestess, who is draped in white, as most priests and priestesses of Ishtar are. One thing you've also noticed over the last 2 weeks, none of you have ever set foot in Shushan before 2 weeks ago. And what you notice is almost all the priestesses or the priests of Ishtar are women here. That's not necessarily usual, so it's kind of strange. But you were led to believe that this is on purpose, and that Ishtar is extremely popular in Shim in general, but particularly here. And as this woman is walking away, you kind of hear her say something along the lines, "We made a deal. Make good on and return her, or will be costly." And you obviously missed some things there that were said, and she kind of walks down the steps past you and kind of gives you a look from the shadow in this area that is extremely dark, and you know that the actual door out is to her right, or her left, I suppose, as she faces you. And she kind of walks through the darkness and towards the exit. And you hear the door open and the guard on the outside kind of shuffle as she exits. And Ranvir come down the stairs after her. "Ah, my brothers! It is good that I have seen you today. It has been too long. I have been busy these last days." And he walks around and kind of sits at the head of the table in front of you. Tell me, how is my city?"
And Yasser will look up and say, "My Khan, all is well for now. Peace reigns. We're trying to keep it going as long as possible."
"Of course." And he looks to the others. "Anything to say, my brothers? Or you let Yasser speak as always?"
I think everything's going quite well.
Vidal just sort of grunts.
Good, Vidal.
No, Vidal just sort of grunts at that.
Talkative as usual, Brother Vidal. He looks at Adib. "Adib, do you know the lady that just left here?"
Oh, can't quite say I do.
He's a
Familiar,
priestess of Ishtar, their head priestess in Shushan. Have you gone to their sanctuary yet?
though. I don't believe I have.
Pleasures of the flesh, brother. For a small tithe.
Ah. Well, then I might have to pay it a visit, won't I?
It seems something that you might enjoy. And he kind of smiles and looks at Rafik. And how about you, Rafik? What have you been doing these past days?
Oh, keeping an eye out. It's a little uneasy around here, with a little too peaceful, it seems like. But yet, I've been trying to tame some of the she-wolves around here as well. Quite feisty.
Yes, wanton, no doubt, from the old king's rule. Cobwebs would grow along a woman, and that's sorry man's rule of this place. But, brothers, eat and drink, but unfortunately I have called you here for a task I must send you on.
Oh, something interesting, I hope.
Yes, perhaps. Not something I wish to be bothered with, but such is life.
That's what we're here for.
We'll relish it, I'm sure.
And he doesn't bring it back up for a while, and you eat and drink for about an hour, and then he finally brings his goblet up to his mouth and says, yes, that task. You see, there's a woman called Fatima, an ex-priestess, I suppose, of Ishtar, who has went missing, most like of her own accord. I need you to find her.
In what condition do you need her back?
Alive, Rafik. Alive.
Seems even easy enough. Just another she-wolf, I'm sure.
I do not know. I would be careful with this one. The priestess, Sabine, has told me that she is quite resourceful and deadly.
My Khan, what were the circumstances under which she disappeared?
It is my understanding that when the city fell, she fled the city, or is in hiding in the city. Apparently she was displeased with the other priestesses of Ishtar. That is really all I know. Besides that she has help and aid. There are people that follow her, worship her. It is apostasy.
Ah.
Where was the woman last seen, Great Khan?
I was told that she was seen leaving the Ishtar's sanctuary, but where, it is unknown. Disappeared into the city.
Do we know what she looks like, my Khan?
Yes. I have heard she is a wondrous beauty, not unlike most priestesses of Ishtar, but raven black hair. She is Shemite. Unlike some of them, like the woman that just left Sabine, who is milky. And the lady that left, as you saw her, she was golden haired and pale skinned, so clearly not from Shem. But that isn't a description that many could fit. And he kind of shrugs.
Well, Khan, Great Khan, the walls have eyes. I'm sure someone's seeing where the young priestess has went off to.
And if she does have worshippers, like you say, someone's got to have a tongue that'll slip.
Perhaps. I believe you should go to the Lord Commander, Dardis. And you know Dardis to be, essentially, he is the captain of the guard of the city. And he actually was a enemy in the fighting. And Ranvir, it was one of the few Ranvir actually pardoned and took into his service. And so this Dardis is the captain of the guard, but was previously your enemy. And so that you might have some disdain for that. That's up to you to decide. He knows this place better than any of us. He might be able to give us some information.
Yasser would say, he knows it much too well to my liking, my Khan. Much too well.
Yes, I know, Yasser. We have spoken of this.
Very well, my Khan. If it is Dardis that we must speak to first, your will is our command.
And Ranvir nods and says, "Before that, let us have more drink, eh?"
Yes, my Khan. And then Yasser would pick up a goblet. But not drink it just yet.
Or if you could pick up his and hold it up. More drink is welcome.
Yeah, Deep would join in.
Vidal would raise his.
And Yasser would say, to our Khan. As a toast.
To our Khan.
To Khan.
To the Khan.
And you all toast Ranvir, and he kind of laughs and says, "I would not be here if it were not for my brothers. Undoubtedly, it was a long road, and here we are, with bloods washed off our blades, and we sit in comfort in the old king's table, just as I told you we would, just as my father envisioned."
Indeed. And with that, Yasser would start drinking and relax a little.
Yeah, you guys
never stop drinking.
Yeah, you guys drink for the remainder of the night, kind of just drinking and eating and throwing back. And the next day, you wake up in the guest estate where you've been staying, and you can head about your day at that point. Let me move you guys real quick. So I moved you over to the right a bit. You want to scroll over there?
Yep.
Should see yourself.
It says city guard?
Yeah, there's others staying in that area.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
So you wake up the next morning. Let me
Perfect.
So the light through the window kind of wakes you up in the morning, and there's two other men that you know, not particularly well, sort of like walking towards. They have woken up and are leaving.
Vidal swats the maid on her backside as he sends her about her day.
Yasser is going to dip his face in a bowl of cool, clear water and shake off the previous night's drink. And if there's food on the table, he's going to take that leg of lamb and start nibbling on it, considering the day's events.
Rafik's just gonna be poking the fire.
Dave's got water spliced with some more wine to hopefully kill his hangover.
So the two men leave, and the maid kind of giggles and looks back at Vidal as she also departs, leaving you to the day's task at hand. Actually, yeah.
Yasser turns to Rafik and says, Rafik, would you like to have some fun today?
I would. My blade is thirsty, as much as I am. But only I don't need to drown my wine with water to drink it. Young brother.
As I did last night.
Adib. Oh, how wonderful it is to be young, says Yasir, remarking at his ability to not need to really shake off the previous night's drink.
My head doesn't seem to think so.
But you carry it so well, young brother, so well.
I guess I do, don't I?
And Vidal, shall we smile today? Or are you going to be silent and brooding again?
Vidal gives his silent, brooding look, as though his face might crack if he did otherwise.
So, Rafik, shall we have fun at Dardis' expense?
I think his guts will spill one way or another. Hopefully it's the way I want.
Yeah, I don't know. If he was willing to serve, I don't expect he'd put up much resistance now.
Oh, I don't mean killing him. Killing him would be quick and final. Oh, how it must hurt him to see us in a power of privilege and position. How it must burn him to see us in his city. There are many ways to eviscerate a man. It doesn't have to be with a sword or a scimitar.
Yeah, I guess so.
Vidal actually smiles for a second at that.
What the? Vidal, the piece making you happy. Well, shall we go on then and get this business done?
I suppose so.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to show you something. So this is the general. This is the layout of the town. You can go to any location in this map if you wish. You know that Dardis would be at the barracks. That's 14.
Cool.
All right.
Okay.
14. The barracks in jail with it. That's where we go.
Yeah. This is where you are.
Well,
Obviously, the estate. You're at 5. The estate up here, the big blue building at the top.
Ah, wonderful.
Cool.
So it's not particularly far away. I just wanted to give you a kind of bird's eye view of what that looked like.
Yeah, cool.
And the promenade is where
It's like a walkway.
it's like, are there merchants, vendors on the promenade?
No, they're at the bazaar.
Okay.
That is at 2. And 2 is, as you can see, that's north. You're right by it, but
Okay, fine.
Yep.
No, I just asked because the route I would prefer to take it through passing people. Yasser always wants to know what the people are talking about. It's his sense and need to control this place that he just can't let go of that.
Well, if you want to go to the promenade, we can go to the promenade. Is that what you want to do?
I mean, no, just walking through the promenade, like,
yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Sure. All right, hold on.
Yeah, I take it we get a good view from up here as well. It looks like this is a high ground, I presume?
Yep.
Cool.
All right, one sec. One second. So it's the middle of the day, and you're walking down the promenade to go to the barracks. Currently, you see coming down the road a bit, you see looks like what would be like 3 people, it looks like. And they eventually walk into the promenade. And however, as they get closer, you realize 2 of them are slaves, and there's a guard behind them, and he's kind of walking behind them, and their hands are kind of tied in front of them, and they're tied together by a rope as he walks by. He bows his head. Apologies for these 2, my lord.
Rafik will give the slaves a good once over with his, looking at them and seeing what they are, what they're doing, and what they look like.
And they're two females. In their 20s probably. They don't look. Taking these 2 to work in the Khan's estate, my lord.
He would like these 2 young ones, I'm sure.
He does not reply to that.
Vidal gives him a good eye when he hears they're going to the Khan's estate.
Where did they come from?
He shrugs. I do not know, my lord. I am only transporting them. And he kind of pushes the back one, kind of on his shoulders. Speak up, woman. And she keeps her eyes prostrate, looking at the ground. My lord, I am from Kajora. And she's kind of shivering. And the other one, she's also shivering. She says, Aquilonia. And their accents are heavy and thick.
Can Yasser do a check on the slaves just to see
Absolutely.
if it is? What would that be?
What are you trying to do?
Just trying to see about their clothing. If there's anything off about the way they're carrying themselves, the way they're clothed, the way they're kind of there's any sort of attempt to hide anything.
Yep, observation. Go ahead.
Observation. 2 dice and
Yep.
2 successes. Yeah.
Okay, so you get 2 successes. You needed 1. So I'm going to give you a momentum. Okay, for later. So basically, they're in essentially rags. If they had anything decent beforehand, it's been taken from them a long time ago. They don't look like they're telling any lies or anything as far as you can tell. They just seem scared.
Vidal elbows Adib. Have you ever had an Aquilonian winch? I hear it goes side to side, and then he just guffaws. Ha!
Oh, but Karajan, now that I can get behind, if you know what I mean.
And she just kind of leans away, and he kind of tugs on the rope and kind of pulls her back roughly. Woman, stay where you're standing. Move not. These are the lords.
Yasser will turn to them and say, serve well, and you shall live. Treachery, and you would wish death would come to you. And
Rafik. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Rafik will reach out and grab the chin of the slave 3 and make her come to eye level. Best heed his words. I'd hate to split you.
And she kind of goes wide-eyed. Of course, my lord. Of course, we live to serve.
You better get him to the Khan. I'm sure he doesn't. I'm sure you want to see him.
Of course, my lord. And he looks at he kind of tugs on the rope. Start walking. And they do. And the guard bows. Good day, my lords. And takes them off until eventually they walk down the promenade and depart.
Well, yes, sir. What'd you think?
I've seen better.
I've seen happier.
Happiness is not necessary to serve.
Why don't
more enjoyable, doesn't it?
one of you, whoever you would like, why don't you roll another observation roll? You can pick whoever's the best at it, or just whatever.
Oh, I'd have to see that
I
machine.
think I'm the best at that one, so let me do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've got meh.
Okay. So, you see, kind of get a glimpse of perhaps somebody kind of like standing behind a pillar behind you that you didn't see before.
I see. Yasser will look at Adib and say, Adib,
Huh.
I think you might want to go take a look at that slave girl. Close look.
Huh? The ones from before.
Mm-hmm.
All right then. What for, might I ask?
Just a ploy.
Sure.
And he's going to ask, and he very silent is going to say, Rafik, head north a bit, will you?
Oh, I like the sound of this. Yes, sir.
Deep looks a little bit confused and shrugs and starts heading that way.
So as Adib's walking this way, kind of like quite suddenly, a girl kind of dashes out behind the pillar there and kind of starts booking it down, this way, right?
Yeah, Hadib would confusedly pursue out of instinct.
Mm-hmm. So why don't what would be something there? Something out of probably, I would say, in athletics, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, let's do that.
That'd be my guess.
Alrighty. Oh no.
use your macro too.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But that's okay. So complication. I'm gonna go ahead and say that you basically trip and fall, and she's able to get away.
Alrighty.
So Adib literally stumbles. How's that look?
Oh yeah, he's like right about there, and like some of the pavement is quite loose, and the stone kind of kicks up and just in front of his toe, and he kind of loses it and like goes into the statue, and just completely falls all over the damn thing about the ground.
Rafik will go down laughing and pull him up to steady himself. Were you distracted by our beauty, brother?
Ah, fuck, if only. Damn stones. I need to get some new masons.
Well, yeah, sir. What do you think about it?
You there, Zyver?
Sorry, I was muted. Yasser is going to walk up to Adib and he's just going to say, Adib, shaking his head. And even though Yasser wants to admonish him, Adib is still the youngest. He's the baby, so he's just going to kind of, pat him on his cheek, and say, next time, will you see where you walk?
I suppose I'll try. You still want me to go check on those slaves?
The slaves were not who I wanted you to check out on. It was the lady who ran away.
You should have just told me.
Well.
Would have been a bit more careful about it.
Did you get a good look at her?
Did I?
I mean, you saw her, but it would be you don't know that you would be able to recall her. That would be a roll if you saw her again, right? To be able to put 2 to 2. You didn't get a great look at her.
Fair enough. Not all that well. Maybe if I saw her in a crowd, but I'd have to be lucky.
Maybe she'd be like a good little spider and come back to us eventually.
Yasser will take some time to kind of brush off the dirt of Adib's clothes and straighten him out a bit and say, try not to embarrass the rest of us as the day progresses, Adib.
He rolls his eyes. Sure.
Okay.
I guess I'll have to try.
Right.
Start heading towards the barracks.
Okay, we're heading towards the barracks. Okay, here we go. All right.
As we make our way towards the barracks, Vidal will be looking to see if it appears that any strange women or anyone else are tailing us.
Yeah. No, you're pretty sure no one's tailing you. Vidal is pretty good at that sort of thing, and he does not see anybody nearby at all. So, no one's tailing you. And you do come up the road and come up to this guardhouse, which you basically have been here once before, directly after the battle, and had come in here, and there were several soldiers, basically, that had come in here and locked themselves in. And you see the new door, basically, there, because you had the door rammed in, right? And there was some fighting in here and some pretty brutal killings in here. So that's the last time you were here. And there are 2 guards standing outside wearing the colors of your Khan, the yellow and brown.
As we get closer to the door, Yasser will ask Rafik, what do you think? 2 blows to bring this door down this time?
It looks a lot better built than the last one. Maybe even 3.
3? I don't believe you.
We could find out. And as we're walking up, Rafik will stare at the guard.
And the guard bows his head. Yes, master, what can I do for you today?
How goes the patrol?
I do not know, master. I am on guard duty here, outside the barracks. You would need to ask the Lord Commander for such things.
Well, yes, sir. Shall we go ask him?
Oh, let's. I'm looking forward to this. I think this might be the brightest thing that's going to happen to us this morning. Seeing old Dardis.
Hey, Deeb. There's some rocks here. Don't trip over them.
I'll try not to.
And the guard kind of walks you into the other room to take you inside. I believe the Lord Commander is in the next room. I will announce you.
No need to announce us. We'll announce ourselves.
My lord, I am told to announce anyone who comes in.
It's okay, Rafik. We don't want the simple man to get into any trouble. Go ahead. What is your name again?
My name, my lord?
Yes, what is
My
your
name is Shanir.
Shanir. Well, Shanir, if your Lord Commander has given you an order, go ahead. Perform your duty.
Thank you, my lord. And he opens the door, leaves it open, walks in, and you hear a conversation from the other room, and quite quickly out walks your old friend Dardis, who is not a Shemite from everything you've been told or can tell. You're not sure where he's from, but he's got a dark complexion, but not exactly as dark as it would be to be him a straight Shemite or Stygian or anything like that. And he does have an accent, but it's not too bad. And he walks out, and he's wearing his chainmail and kind of looks you over, and he's like, the brothers, welcome. What can the Lord Commander do for you today?
You can start by telling us about the sisterhood, correct? What is it? Is it the sisterhood or the priestesses of Ishtar?
The priestesses of Ishtar. Oh, you want to know about the priestesses of Ishtar? Well, what do you know about Ishtar? I do not know your beliefs, brothers.
Our beliefs are unimportant to you. Answer the question.
There are many priestesses of Ishtar here in the city. There is a temple. There is what they call the sanctuary. And then there is the blessing. One is a brothel, one is, well, no one really knows. A library, they say, is off limits to anyone who is not a priestess.
What does this library contain?
I do not.
Books?
I do not know, my lord. That is what I'm saying. No one's ever been in there. They say it's as a library. He shrugs.
Any reason why one of them will want to run away?
Run away? They are quite pampered, and I would not know of any such thing.
The priestesses of Ishtar. What was their relationship with your old? And Yasser is going to put that emphasis on old a lot. Lord.
Yes. They had an understanding.
And the understanding was?
The Lord took part of their tithes as a tax for protection, for allowance in the city. That is all I know. My lords, may I ask why you're asking about the priestesses of Ishtar? There are certainly more knowledgeable men or women than I.
We're looking for someone in particular.
Oh,
What was that name again?
Fatima?
Fatima. She goes by the name Fatima.
Fatima. And he kind of thinks about it, and okay, we're going to do a struggle real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever has the best insight, I would like you to roll it, or whoever you want to make the roll.
It wouldn't be me.
What is insight? Yeah, it's awareness.
Yeah, it's awareness.
Insight.
Does anybody have ranks in insight?
Nah, I got goose egg.
Who's got the best awareness then?
That could be Vidal. He's got a 12.
Yeah, I got a 7.
Go ahead, Doug.
Good roll. Oh, well, nice. Okay, let's see here. All right, so you get a. Oh, you rolled a 1 too, so that's. Oh, you bet you're not trained, so no focus. So I'm giving you basically 2 momentum for your struggle. So when Dardis says he doesn't have any idea about anything, Vidal kind of thinks that's bullcrap. He just kind of is reading his body language and his face, and he just kind of says it too quickly after hearing the name Fatima.
Okay, well, when Vidal gets the vibe of untruth from Dardis, he will step forward menacingly, and you will tell us what you know.
He kind of like takes a step back, and he's like, my lord, what is it? What is it? He kind of like puts his hands up, like.
Yasser is going to step aside, and he's just going to say, he's going to kind of catch on to what Vidal is doing, and he's going to say, Rafiq, maybe Dardis needs some convincing as to why he should help us.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
I got this macro. It says Steely Glare.
Yep.
What is that?
That is you can attack their resolve, and so you could use a Steely Glare. I would allow it. That's fine. It's technically an attack you do in combat, but I would allow it here for sure.
All right, I didn't see it on my sheet or nothing. I was trying to see what it
yeah,
pertained to.
It's based off your I believe it's a Steely Glare. I'd have to look that one up specifically, but I think it's willpower.
Right.
Roll it and they'll say. Right, I'll tell you what it's based off of. Yeah, so that is versus. Okay, so basically he just like throws up his hands. He's like, relax. He's like, I did not want to speak of it because I thought it was beneath your worry.
I'll speak of what?
And he basically says, so he basically just kind of like says, there are 2 that might know where Fatima went. I had heard that she had left the city after the battle. She consorted with some that were not quite what you would say is holy, but many of the priestesses do. He's like, there are two you should talk to that might know her whereabouts. One is Zeb, of Zeb's oddities, a merchant, and the other she dealt with some men on Beggar's Row, criminals, sneak thieves, cut purses. Could not say why, but I knew that in my former position that she did such things.
Yasser is going to look up and at Dardis. You are the Lord Commander, is that not?
I am the
The
Lord
garrison.
Commander.
And you tell me that there are thieves in Shushan?
There have always been thieves in Shushan, yes, sir.
What have you done about these thieves?
I make sure they do not steal from those that we would care about. They mostly fight amongst themselves. It
Who
is
is the leader of these thieves?
a man named Korba.
Where do we find this Korba?
Beggar's Row, as I said.
Tell me more about this Korba.
He does anything that can make him money. Mostly it is thievery or protection gambits. He has a gang pinching the other poor. Sometimes the well-to-do hire him for jobs.
At the mention of that, Yasser is going to give Dardis a look. Does he have a patron in the city?
Not anymore.
Not anymore, you say.
Not that I know of, unless he has found a new one, such as Fatima.
So the two were Zeb's oddity, and this last one's name was?
Korba. His name is
Korba.
Korba. And
Korba.
that would be Beggar's Row.
Okay.
This is the location.
Well, Dardis, it is unfortunate that we have to still resort to intimidation to get information from you. I thought you were a loyal servant to the Khan. Am I mistaken?
Of course not, my lord. I am a leal and loyal servant of the Khan.
Then this will not happen again, will it?
Of course not, my lord. And he bows.
Good, because I'd hate to bury a loyal servant of the Khan in a manure pit.
He just kind of grimaces but doesn't say anything. Rob, are you back, by the way?
I think he's still away from keyboard.
Okay.
I can hear, but I'm not at my keyboard.
Okay, so good.
Cool.
You're good.
So, Yasser is gonna say to Zeb's then.
Sounds right.
But
Yes.
once we step out, Yasser is gonna say to the thieves.
No, so you say one thing, but you're doing the other.
Yes.
Okay. So you leave Dardis behind.
Oh, just pull Rob with us as well.
Yeah, I get it. It's all good. All right.
And while they're walking, Yasser would tell Rafiq, that was wonderful. I think he shit himself a little there.
Well, that's a good thing Vidal has an eye for these. I don't like that man, though.
Me neither. But if, inshallah, we will have a reason to kill him one day, I look forward to it.
That day can't come.
Go ahead.
That day can't come fast enough, I think.
I agree, brother.
Okay, and so you're heading to Beggar's Row. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Rob, do you want us to take 5 or?
No, go ahead. I'm almost done.
Okay, no, you're good. Okay, all right. So let's head over there. Okay, bear with me. Oh. 1 second, guys. Sorry.
No problem.
Gotta learn how to navigate my own town. Okay, you should be able to see yourselves now. Let me know if you do not.
We are in the northwest.
Northwest. You should not be in the northwest. You should be.
All the way top left.
Hold on, I might have you in. Bear with me. Oh, you're in the token layer. Should be. Let's see. No, let me make sure I get you in the right area. Hold on. Yeah, no. Sorry. There you go.
Okay. It helps to, just for you other guys, is just like just zoom out all the way till you see the tokens and then just zoom back in.
Yeah.
And it is daytime. So you walk into this area, and it's mostly dilapidated building, lanes to tents, that sort of thing. You smell a really terrible stench of refuse and garbage, and that sort of thing as you walk in. There are some people that kind of like skitter about. Most of, as they see you, kind of run away. But yeah, there's not really much going on here besides people in their houses looking miserable, mostly.
Yasser is going to say, "I is all about you, brothers. We may be lords, but these people are desperate. And desperate people do foolish things."
You see a girl kind of peeking around a corner nearby off a little road, but she's probably 12 maybe. And then a woman come up behind her and kind of grab her by the ear. "Come back with me, girl," and kind of like starts dragging her away.
Yasser will say, "You there, wait."
And they stop.
"Come here, please."
And she kind of pulls the girl behind her and kind of steps over this little small bridge. "Yes, what is it?"
"What are your names?"
And she says, "My name is Belle."
"What is it you do for a living, Belle?"
"A living?"
"Yes."
"I sew. Mostly." "Is there something you require of me?"
"Yes. I'm looking for someone.
Oh?
Is there... What would there be like? What do you call it? So lore-wise,
Mhm.
would given that this is Shushan, what would be a tavern equivalent?
A tavern equivalent?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that there's no alcohol per se, like, or it's what's
Um,
the lore behind that?
no, there's booze. It's not like it's not equivalent to Islam or anything like that.
Okay,
There's places to drink and stuff.
okay. So he's gonna ask, where would be a tavern in this? He's about to say the word dump, and he's gonna say, in this place.
And she says, in Shushan or in Beggar's Row?
Yasser rolls his eyes and says, Beggar's Row.
There is no tavern, my lord, only small buildings where people gather to drink. We have no such fancy places.
Then such a building, where would that be?
And from behind, you kind of notice that you're kind of drawing a crowd right now. So a man walks out from the alleyway behind you. Two men, actually. And one has a tattoo on his face. And he's like, "Who are you to be bothering my bitches?"
Yasser just coolly turns around.
Seeing the man walk out and talk like that, Rafik will move up.
Your bitches?
That's what I said, pretty man.
Pretty man. Bitches. I see. This day is gonna get interesting. I was not wrong.
Ah, brother. Maybe we shouldn't kill someone who thinks you're pretty.
Yes. Yes, it's not very often I meet people who say I'm pretty. But I need a memento to keep that. I think your tongue would do just fine there to remind me that it once thought I was pretty.
He kind of chuckles and he's like, "What do you want, pretty
Who might you
man?"
be?
They call me Korba.
Well, isn't this a small world we live in?
What do you want? Not many pretty men come to Beggar's Row.
You mean aside from your tongue?
You want my tongue, is it?
Well, we shall have that eventually. But not before a few questions.
What do you want to know?
Fatima.
What
Where is
about
she?
her? Couldn't say exactly.
Couldn't say or wouldn't say?
Both at this point. I don't give information for free.
Well, how about we trade then?
What do you have to trade?
Letting you live?
He kind of chuckles and whistles, and you're seeing men like falling behind him, and kind of a few men walk down the road. Some other rough-looking men. He's like, "Yeah, well, I don't think I'm too worried about that, friend.
Seeing these people come out, Rafik will draw his sword and be like, "Dog, do you know who you are talking to?"
I don't, actually. Don't much care. If you want to know where Fatima is, killing me won't tell you that.
Oh, you are mistaken. We are not here to kill you.
You shall
Killing
live.
comes later.
He chuckles and he's like, if you think you would even be close to catching me, you're quite incorrect. But I do know where Fatima is, perhaps, or where you might find her, but I need something from you. If you want to whip your dick outs and measure them, then I'll step back and, well, you'll never find me again. But if you want to make an honest trade, then I'm here to trade.
Well, yes, sir. Should we attempt to cut him in half and negotiate with the better one?
That helps. But I see that this man has followers for now.
Yeah, they're really kind of like coming out of the woodwork, all these scumbags, basically.
Rafik's gonna look around and be like, a lot of your heads would look good on our con's wall, wouldn't they?
He rolls his eyes. Does this one talk for you? Or do you want to make a deal, pretty man?
What is it that you offer? Because I've still not heard a word that is useful to us.
I will tell you where you can find Fatima. Isn't that what you wanted?
Yes, that's what I wanted.
Then that is it. That is what I will give you.
And what is it you want in return?
Oh, nothing so impressive. Just coin, but not from you. No, there's a fight to be had soon. At the Fox's Den. And you guys know the Fox's Den to be like a gambling den / small pit. There's a fist fight to come between two slaves. I want to make sure one wins. I would want you to make sure that happens for me.
How big is this place?
The entire place? It's pretty huge.
Oh, no, this, the devil's, no, not the devil's,
Oh,
the beggar's row.
Oh, no, yeah, Beggar's Row is pretty huge. It's, like shanty after shanty after shanty after shanty. I mean, this is just one section of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, sir. How's this deal sound?
This fool expects me to involve ourselves in some slave fight.
Rafik will look at Korba and be like, when's this fight?
It's this afternoon. He's kind of backing away, you notice? Like, he's not kind of trusting you.
And he's, Yassi is going to say, he said the Fox's Den?
Yep.
Okay. And he's not going to say anything. And he says, I think our meeting has concluded. Doesn't say much. Doesn't confirm or deny what he's going to do to Korba.
Okay. He just watches you leave. He doesn't say
Did
anything.
he say which slave needs to win?
Yeah, he did not. So he steps out and he's like, "Wait! I didn't tell you who I wanted to win."
Yes, and who did you want to win?
The giant Teemu. He's fighting someone from the Black Kingdoms. But this Teemu does not want to fight. He's unmanned. That
And
is
you
why.
want this unmanned to win?
Of course. The stakes on him are very high.
How much coin have you put on him? Maybe we can make some coin as well.
Oh, plenty of coin, plenty of coin.
Yasser will not say anything and just start moving away.
Okay.
We'll see you soon, Korba.
Vidal holds his position with his bow not exactly drawn and pointed at anyone, but waiting for his brothers to move away from this rabble.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he moves back. Good.
Yeah, Deep follows along. I thought there was going to be a bit more of a show, but seems you actually talked him down, huh?
Oh no, there will be a show, Adib.
I like the way this sounds.
So where are you guys going?
To the fox's den.
Okay. So you head to the Fox's Den. Okay. Bear with me.
And he's going to turn to his brothers and say, I would like to find out if Korba actually placed that bet. And if so, how much? Doesn't seem that a man of his stature would have a lot. But then again, I could be wrong. And if he has placed all that he has on the bet, then he has more to lose.
Okay.
Nah, I knew I didn't wake up for nothing today.
All right. Do you see your tokens?
Again at the northwest. Is that?
You are no. You are. Oh,
okay.
oh,
I
you're
think
looking at
it's
two different
Teemu.
spots. So,
Yeah.
sorry. You're north. You're southeast. Sorry about that.
Cool. No problem. Yes, sir. So, yeah.
Yeah, you see this platform with there's a commotion as you walk in, and you see, people in the background muttering. And as you walk in, a man kind of steps out in front of you, and he's like, "Who are you? What business do you have here?" And he's a well-built kind of fella, and he has basically a cudgel hanging off his hip, and he's bare-chested, just kind of looking at you as you enter.
We heard there's a fight. We are just here to entertain ourselves and watch it. Is that against the law?
No, of course it's not. He's like, very well. Of course, just taking bets, and he kind of nods to this fat man kind of down in the pit talking to two men, and kind of just steps back. No trouble. Don't want any trouble.
Oh no, you won't have any trouble from us.
All right, what are you guys gonna do?
Rafik will walk in at that point. Smaller than I expected.
Let us talk to this Elkosh and find out more, shall we?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yasser is going to kind of walk up to Elkosh and... A moment of your time.
Yeah, he seems to be done with the men in front of him who kind of like walk away, kind of mill about. Oh, yes, of course. Salam, how are you? Would you like to make a bet? 10-1 odds on the giant? Or 2-1 on the black one?
Those seem good odds.
Well, they say that the giant does not wish to fight and will not fight. The black one, he is, well, a savage. He will fight if he is prodded.
And the giant does not fight, does the black one win?
Of course. He will fight or he will be thrown in and beaten. It does not matter.
Tell me this. Have there been many bets on the giant?
No, not many. But yours could be one of the few.
Any big bets on him? I like to put my money where the wind blows, if you catch my meaning.
Yes, there has been one larger bet that you would not associate with such long odds. Long odds are usually small bets.
Do you find that troubling that there's such a large bet?
No. Desperation, men with money willing to spend it.
Could it be that the long bet is there to break you?
I don't know. I had not considered it. What are you getting at, sir?
All I ask is, are you good? Can you cover all your bets? Or is somebody trying to break you?
Are you interested in my finances? I am fine. That bet is never going to come to fruition anyway. It is already in my pocket.
But if the giant fights, does he stand a chance against that savage?
Oh, if the giant fights, he would break any man in half. And you're looking at the guy, and his head is almost hitting the ceiling from that platform. He's bigger than Rafik by far, and wider. He's a humongous man, and he has basically a tattoo on his face. You might be able to see if you scroll in a second, but he has a really bad scar on his right cheek, and then across his forehead is a tattoo in a language you do not understand. He's clearly not from Shim, obviously. He's just kind of sitting on a bench over there with his head kind of looking down, just kind of like rubbing his hands.
Is he a slave?
Of course.
Who owns him?
I do. I own both these slaves.
May I inquire as to how much you purchased him for?
The giant? Oh, not much. He would not fight for his last master, and so he was worth nothing. The black one, well, much more.
Seems to be a sure bet on one side, huh?
Suppose so. Adib kind of looks at Elkosh. Why exactly won't he fight?
Says he's seen too much blood. That's what he says. From what I understand. Don't know where he's from. Distant land, I think.
If you were to sell him, how much would he be?
Depends if he fights today. If he does not, well, not much. Wouldn't be able to get much from him. Do you want to buy him?
If I were to, how much would that be?
Like, well, I don't want to sell him until the fight. But if he does not fight, 5 gold, he can lift bricks or something. He might be able to do manual labor. He is a large man after all. If he fights and wins, then he is not for sale.
May I inspect him?
And he, turns around and he's like, Teemu, come down here. And he kind of looks up and stands up and kind of, mopes down the stairs slowly and kind of steps. Yes, master. This one wishes to inspect you. Hold still. And he kind of has this, leather kind of strap, and he kind of, slaps Teemu across the back, and Teemu kind of, straightens up in front of you. Very well. Inspect.
And standing between, with him next to Rafik, what does it look like?
Like the size difference?
Mm-hmm. Size,
You're talking about somebody who's 6'4" versus somebody who's 7 foot. Like Shaquille O'Neal, sized basically is Teemu.
Well,
So I'm even kind of looking up. Nah, I'm just kind of looking up a little above keel.
Yeah, he is huge.
Nah, he is a big guy.
tell me, Teemu, why do you wish not to fight?
I fight, I do not fight. Too much blood. Too much pain.
What is it that it says on your forehead there? Is that a brand?
No, no brand. Not by a master. Honorable mark of my people. And he just kind of looks down. I cannot say it. Honor is gone.
Would you like to regain your honor?
He doesn't really respond directly.
Would you like to put those hands to good use?
What is good use?
Grow rather than kill. Plant rather than weed out.
Yes, yes. No more pain, no more violence, no more blood.
Well, I can give you all of that. It is for you to decide.
How you give me that? Why?
I have my reasons. But it is for you to decide. You may be a slave, but you can still decide.
Yes, I want this. No fight.
Then keep that. And ensure you don't.
No fight, no. And Akash is kind of listening. He doesn't hear everything you're saying, but what did you say to him? Something about planting? What does that mean?
Planting. Oh, I was just talking about him planting his fists into the other man there.
He just frowns and he's like, "Are you going to make a bet?"
Well, I want to see what happens. What
Very
you
well.
have here is what some say it's a sure thing, but I'm not so sure.
Very well, then. And he backs up and he looks, and then there's no more betters, right? He's like, fine, no more bets, John. And this man up here steps forward and claps his hands. Combatants to the pits! And this fellow walks down quite hurriedly. And Teemu's already standing here and kind of just like mopes forward. Okay. What are you guys doing?
Oh.
Rafiq curious to see what Yasser's doing with this, so...
Yeah, Rafiq's just taking my observant position over on the stairs.
Yeah.
Yasser is kind of standing there in the corner next to the commoner, and he's just looking at Teemu all the time, just waiting to see what happens.
Okay. So essentially, what happens is this guy moves forward and begins to try to punch the other guy, who does not resist at all. And so he goes to hit him, and Teemu just kind of blocks and doesn't do anything. And this guy continues to try to pummel him.
Man, that fucking 20.
Rafiq will walk next to Elikosh.
And he's just covering up at this point, and he's just getting hit over and over and over again. But nothing's really landing so far.
Oh my gosh.
Rafiq's gonna whisper to Elikosh, you know who Teemu reminds me of?
And Elikosh looks at you. Who?
The Khan's long-lost cousin.
He looks at him. He's like, are you jesting? That man does not look like the Khan.
Rafiq will look at him like, you'll address me as Lord.
Yes, my lord.
I think it is his cousin.
I don't think so. I have a right to my property.
No. Well, go ahead and let him get beaten. We'll take him to the Khan later.
And he's like, I will. I mean, you can roll like a persuade if you want.
All right.
Yeah, that would be difficulty at least 2. So he just kind of he's just letting him get beaten, and he gets hit finally, and then this guy's just wailing on him. And finally, just Teemu just kind of drops to his knees and kind of like goes into the fetal position, and the other guy's just kicking him and blooding him up, and finally,
That's when
yeah, go ahead.
Yasser will walk up to Elikosh and say, I thought this was a place of entertainment. I do not find this entertaining.
Yes, neither do I. Enough. And, you know, as he says that, everybody starts booing, basically. And he's like, did you want to buy this worthless slave?
He intrigues me. Yes.
As I said, 5 gold. He can work hard for you. He's not punching or hitting things, I suppose.
5 gold. 5 gold made sense when he was not beaten. You have sullied him now.
He will heal. You wouldn't.
Kind of do like a haggling.
Yeah, 4. Okay, let's do a persuade versus persuade. How's that?
Okay, cool. So I'm trying to kind of bring him down to like 2 gold.
Yep.
So in this game, does the momentum Continue.
So basically, it does. I've removed some because after each scene, one goes away.
Okay, so that still happens then.
Yeah, that still happens. So you have 3 momentum right now total.
Okay.
So you could use momentum to give yourself an opportunity, which is basically roll an extra die. You could use momentum to do that.
Yeah, I'll use 1 momentum to roll 3 dice.
Okay. All right.
Vidal yells from his seat on the stairs, "Don't be a fool, Yasser. The healer will cost 1 gold."
You're right, but I do not wish to steal from Elkosh, fair Elkosh over here. I think 2 gold is a fair price for Teemu here. And like he said, I think Teemu can heal by himself. And persuading for 2 gold. Here we go.
Okay. So, he rolled a complication too. So basically, what happens is, he's like, fine, just take him away from me. Just take him away. I don't care anymore. 2 gold is fine. Give it to me.
And Yasser will hand him 2 gold. And is there a way to use that complication to our advantage?
Yeah,
let me tell you what I want to do with it.
Okay, let's hear it.
So Yasser, okay, the gist of it is going to be, I want to know if Elkosh knows he was going to be swindled, and see if he can kind of brew some discontent between somebody like Elkosh and Korba.
That would be more. That would be more of a complication on Korba's side, not Elkosh's side.
Maybe like this. Find out more about like if he knows who placed those bets.
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
And so Yasser is going to say, a fair trade, Elkosh, a fair trade.
I don't know about that.
You have 2 gold more now than you did before. That's always better. More gold in your pocket.
Yes, it's lucky that this man made the large bet, or I would be out a lot of money right now.
I'm curious. Do you know who this man is who placed that bet?
I don't. It came through an intermediary of some sort.
Who would this intermediary be?
His name is Goleth. That's what he told me. Looked like he shouldn't have that money. Figured he stole it.
And I figure that man was trying to do some more. I hear strange things. I hear somebody was trying to fix this fight.
It doesn't. Well, perhaps. People that rake my ire are not usually long for this world.
Well, since you have done me such a good deed today, given me a fair trade, I will find out more for you about this man who tried to swindle you. Maybe you can set an example so others know not to try the same with you.
Yes, perhaps. If you could tell me this, perhaps I could keep an ear to the ground for you. What is your name? Who are you, by the way?
I am Yasser.
Yasser, one of the Ranvir's one of the brothers.
Yasser kind of gives him a look, and he shakes his head very slowly. You knew what he was going to say, but Careful now, Olkosh.
It is
Careful.
just what many call you. I have no qualms with the Khan or any of you.
Yes, such people will have their day by our sword. But until then, know this: Yasser and his brothers helped you.
Of course. And he looks at Teemu and you go with him now, he owns you. And Teemu kind of like lumbers forward. Plant, you say?
Yes, Teemu, my giant plant, grow.
And he nods. So what is your plan now?
So you said Golgoth, correct?
Golgoth is what he called himself. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And before he leaves, and he'll ask Elkosh, would you know where we can find this Golgoth?
Unfortunately, I do not. He was to come here to receive payment, of course.
So be it. And then he will kind of pull Rafiq and Vidal and all the brothers together. He would say, so it seems there is one more person who knows more about Korba. May indeed lead us to him. Today, Korba seems to have lost a lot of money.
Suppose.
Now he's on the defensive.
Stone-faced Vidal nods.
Should be entertaining.
I guess so. Don't quite get the plan, but it seems interesting, so...
The plan is Korba is out of a whole bunch of money. Maybe it is his, maybe it is somebody else's. But
True,
now
but
he's
we're out
on the hook.
information, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. What was that?
He said true, but we're out the information, aren't we?
Oh, he has the information. But
Exactly.
he also is jammed. Would you not say that? So we follow this Golgoth, find this Korba when he's alone, and get what we want.
So as you are heading towards the stairs, there's a new entry into the room. 1 second. And he basically walks up and comes down, and you kind of recognize him. You recognize him as one of the guys that was next to Korba.
Mm.
And he sees you, and he's kind of looking around, trying to assess the situation. And he kind of, you see him directly look at Teemu, and then over at Turu, the other gladiator, and he like sneers. And he goes to look like he's gonna just like leave immediately.
And that's when Yasser would say, get him.
Rafik will move up to grab him.
Okay, why don't you let's do an opposed athletics roll.
Oh boy,
Don't trip on a stone, man.
I'm falling on my face.
And I'm going to spend 1 doom to give him an extra die.
And we have 2 momentum. Keep that in mind. So if you want, you can use that.
Yeah, sure. I'll use that. What does that give me? 1
Ex-
momentum.
extra die.
How many?
For 1-1.
All right. Need all the help I can get, I think.
Ooh.
So so you used how many momentum?
Just 1.
Okay. So he is up and he is outpacing Rafik, and he's at the bottom of the stairs while you're like at the top of the stairs.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Deeb would be kind of chasing along afterwards, although, of course, he didn't have any kind of lead in the situation.
Yeah, my athletics is 0, so I'm trying to think of what else I can do here.
Same.
Come, Teemu, and Rasa will follow him.
Okay. We look at go to the northwest pane, please.
Yep.
So you guys are now. He exits this alleyway, and you guys are behind him a little bit more than actually what's depicted. But he is like about to race through the streets as you all kind of come out.
And Yasser will say, Vidal, maybe an arrow in his leg. It has brought many a brave adventurers down.
All right. And Vidal will
Okay, we're
try
just gonna
to get a shot.
Yeah, we're just doing this as a skill roll. So this is just based on the kind of strange little, kind of corner and whatnot and moving. I'm going to make this a difficulty of 2.
We still have 2 momentums.
You do have 2 moments.
2 momentums, yes.
You have 2.
All right. Well, maybe we ought to use one.
Okay, so that would give you 3 dice. Oh wow. So
Nice.
you basically shoot and shoot.
I was not trying to kill him.
No, you won't kill him. You actually do not kill him. So you shoot him through the back of his calf, like at a downward angle, and it like probably cuts his Achilles, is what you assume, and he just like stumbles to the ground and hits the side of the wall and just like is screaming as he's grabbing his leg.
Not so fast now, are ya?
And he just continues to yell in agony.
I'll step on the wound. Where's Korba?
He's just yelling.
And Yasser is going to kind of get to one knee and says, you know who we are.
You're Ranvir's dogs. And he kind of spits to the side.
And you know how painful our bite is.
And he just rolls over. He's like, what do you want?
Well, I will let that one remark go for now. It seems you people like to trade. How about we trade now? Your life for Korba's.
Fine. What do you want?
That wound looks really bad. You want to get it looked soon, and we have the best healers.
He just grimaces. Fine. What do you want?
Where can we find Korba alone?
He'd be in his house at night. This night, probably. Maybe with a woman. He has guards.
He has guards. How many guards?
Usually 2.
I find it strange, don't you, that somebody like Korba could afford so much money on a fight like this?
I don't know. He doesn't tell me. I just took it and made the deal.
How much was it?
100 gold. Ugh.
I suppose you're supposed to be delivering this money.
Yes, he sent me to see how it had panned out.
Does Korba trust you?
He trusts no one, but perhaps me the most. I'm here with 100 gold.
So if you were to disappear and he didn't get the money, what would Korba think? That you took it and ran away?
Probably.
That puts you in a lot of difficulty, doesn't it?
Just tell me what you want, I'll do it.
So, how do we get into Korba's house?
I can try to lead the guards away, but I can barely walk now.
And how bad does the wound look?
Oh, he's got an arrow sticking through his leg, through his ankle area, right?
Do you know these guards well?
Yes. I don't know who's be there tonight, but yes, I know them all.
So it's going to be twice that we save your life now. If you're healed and Korba doesn't get his money, then I think you stole it.
He's just looking up in pain.
Is there a back entrance to that house?
It's just
not guarded.
no. It's just a big lean-to. He doesn't like fancy things.
Did Korba send you alone out here?
As far as I know.
Well, what do you say, brothers? Take him to the Lord Commander so that he can be healed?
We might have to use him to lure the guards away. It's a pretty seedy town. Somebody could have mugged them and shot them with an arrow and took their money.
Yeah, I agree. Think it'd be easy enough.
Guards would have to go look, right?
Exactly.
And as you're kind of talking, someone kind of walks up. He's armed to the teeth, actually, and he kind of walks up and he's like, "What's going on here? I'll ask you to leave this street."
And who does this person look like?
He looks, well, he's of average size, but he has very heavy armor on for this area. He is pale-skinned, and he's got his hand on the hilt of the sword. "You're disrupting business for Zebs."
Zebs, you say? Oh, we were on our way to Zebs. But we find that this man has been injured and we're trying to help him.
"And what business is that of Zebs?"
Oh, nothing. We are just here to talk to Zeb, but we also found this man screaming.
"Clear him off the street or I will."
Oh, we shall. We do not wish that the fine folk who run establishments here to be disturbed. Do not worry.
He grunts. "Very well." And he just kind of like walks back, and you see him just kind of standing. Just kind of standing in the corner, kind of looking at you, but just kind of giving you a wide berth at this point.
So Yasser is going to say, "Help him, brothers. Let's take him to the Lord Commander."
I think we'll help him up.
Yeah, Abdo. Would Abdu. Or, I mean, fucking hell. Would help as well.
Okay.
And
So you're taking him back to the Lord Commander?
At least leave this place and on our way to him.
Okay.
We should take him to Korba's and have him draw the guards away so we could get in.
True. But if Korba sees him with an arrow, then Korba is going to be on the alert.
Korba don't have to see him. He just has to get the guards away somehow. Korba will be inside still, I think.
And the dude says, I could, if one of you could prop me up, maybe throw a hood over your head, and looks at Adib, one of the pretty ones. I could say you're a woman that I've brought for them. You'll have to shave your beard. And he like grimaces.
Brother.
Maybe that it won't be necessary. Adib looks very fine in a veil, don't you, Adib? And kind of nudges him in his ribs.
Adib looks at Yasser like a crosswise glance and kind of like steps on the back of the arrow a bit.
Yeah, and he
Not
just
pushing it in, but downwards.
Yeah, he just like screams. I'm
Come
just
now,
trying to help you.
He is trying to help us.
I guess he is, isn't he?
Well, Golgoth, you do seem to be full of ideas and surprises. Let's get you healed up so you can do this for us. Maybe we can do something for you in the future. It's always good to have friends, is it not, Golgoth?
He just like, yes, okay, fine. So where are you taking him?
Where would he get some healing for his wound?
I mean, a wound like that's not going to heal overnight.
Sure, to like take it out and bandage it so that he can at least limp.
Yeah, there's a place not far from where you are, probably. This is the main section of the city where there's a lot of like business and stuff. Actually, you know that actually right around here could be a place that would work. There's yeah, if you actually I'll just show it to you. Actually, now that I think about it, probably you would need to take him to the temple. More than likely.
The Temple of Ishtar?
Yeah. They do things like that as well.
Okay. So
How long would it take to get there compared to us taking them right to Korba's?
I mean, yeah, but it would spend some time doing that, yeah.
But can he walk, or does he look like?
Oh, he needs assistance to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe heal him a little so he can walk by himself. And still.
I mean, you guys could. Does anybody have healing?
Let me check.
Vidal actually has a rank in healing.
So you could bandage. You could pull out the arrow and bandage it up. I mean, with a roll.
All right. Well, let's do that.
Difficulty 1 for just that level of care.
And there is, I think, 1 extra die in the momentum pool.
Your momentum pool currently hit status. It should tell you.
Status.
It's the last token. It says 2 in there.
2.
Yeah.
So use 1 just to be on the safe side.
Okay.
All right.
Ooh, nice.
Oh yeah. So that's actually a wow. That's 1. Wow, that's 4. That's 5 successes actually.
Fucking hell.
Because you have 2 focus. So the 1 is a focus on both of them. So that's 2 successes for each of those, and then 1 extra. And you only needed 1, so that's going to give you 4 momentum.
Man, you can go around healing blind people next.
Yeah. So you cap at 6, right? You cap at 6 momentum, but so essentially you're able to just you describe how you do it perfectly, everything perfectly here. So you tell me how that looks.
Well, the arrow had gone into the ankle behind the hamstring, but didn't actually cut it, apparently. And so Vidal was able to break the arrow off and go ahead and push the point on through without crippling the ankle.
Yeah. So this guy is screaming as you're doing this, right? And as you're like binding the wound, this guy comes and just is looking around the corner, and he's like, "Did I not say to leave? You're causing a scene."
Yes, sir, you better talk to him before I do.
Yes, we are helping him. We will leave soon. And like I said, do apologize to Zeb on our behalf. We do not want rabble hanging around here, do we? And with that, he's going to start like ushering us away. I mean, we're going to start moving away.
Yeah, and this guy, you've never seen armor like this. It's like metal on metal. It's just a lot of armor. And he kind of steps back again, like very irritated, but doesn't like confront you any longer. So where are you going now?
Maybe get some quick clothes for Adeep to get a veil on and get his groove on for Korba.
So you're actually going to do that?
Try that.
Adeep's vote was for the whole like throw him out there wounded to distract the guards thing.
Yeah, and get the guards to walk away to see.
That works too. We can try either one.
Because I imagine it's a lot of Korba's money that might have got robbed.
Yeah, they'd be right on, I imagine.
And Teemu is just kind of standing behind you. What do you want me to do? And he's looking on in horror at this. You tell him that there's not going to be any more like beating, and then you shoot a guy as he's running from you.
So, with Yasa is going to turn to Teemu and say, "Teemu, do not worry. Follow us for now. Stay behind. You will not have to fight. And soon we'll take you to a place where you can grow and plant and help. Is that not what you'd like to do?"
And he's yes. And he just kind of like shrinks.
You must be patient now, Teemu.
And he nods. So about this time, by the time you get back to Beggar's Row, it's getting to be nighttime. Are you going to take torches with you?
Probably not have them lit though. Yeah, if we're trying to sneak in behind.
Yeah,
That's
maybe
up to
one
you.
torch for Golgot, maybe. So and then follow by closely behind.
Well, that's up to you. That's what you want to do.
What does it look like without the torch on a?
If my macro was snuffing it, I would tell you.
What? Oh shit!
Oh no, it's Adib's got some weirdness on him.
Yeah, it almost looks like a center point.
No,
it's something else.
Oh, there's a remnant.
Standing torch.
Yeah, there's a torch just sitting there.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So then.
So now that makes sense. Okay. Yes, this is what it looks like.
This is what it looks like, right? So then we're not going to light the torches. For now, at least that's my goal.
Okay. So the Gerd, who he tells you his name's really Gerd, and he was using a alias. He basically says, "I know where he is. I don't need a torch. You just have to follow me."
We shall follow you. Good it is. No tricks, good.
Don't worry about it. And he kind of walks up this way ahead of you. Let me just do one thing. Sorry, guys. Yeah, he comes up to this this area up here where this torch is, and he walks down this alleyway, and he's like, it's dark. There's no torches lit, I don't believe. He's kind of looking to see if he can spot anything, and he's like, oh, there, Korba's house. There's a light outside. He's like, do you see it?
Yes, I do.
And so, you don't really know where anybody is. You do, you kind of can see Korba actually in the torchlight, because this is a lean-to, technically. So he's just like sitting near the outside, and you do see one guy kind of walking around the building, kind of pacing around. He does not see you at this point. He's just kind of circling the building.
So good. What is it that you can do for us?
Oh,
Where is the other god?
I don't know. He must not have one on. Don't know. I can lead. I can try to lead him away.
Yes, get that guard when he's not near Korba to pull away. We don't want to arouse Korba's suspicion right away.
And what do you say the house was? Like a lean-to? Like what
Yeah, basically it's it's open, like it's leaning against something to keep it standing. It's like it's basically a shack.
Oh,
but
it's a shack.
there's no door, right? It's like a awning kind of over him, right? And so there's no front to it, if that makes sense.
So it's just like a legitimate lean-to, just a awning, and that's it.
Yeah. He's like, how do you want me to try to lead him away?
Wait, God. And you can turn to his brothers and say, if we fight Korba in the house, that's sure to attract attention.
I suppose, maybe, but whether it's enough to actually be a problem for us remains to be seen.
So be it. Good.
What do you want me to do?
So the distances are accurate, correct? So if he calls him, we have about 27 feet to move.
Yeah, I mean you're at medium range right now, in Conan speak. Let me
Medium range.
yeah, let me throw that on the grid for you.
Okay.
Does that work? You see the grid? No, you do not. Hold on, sorry. What just happened? I literally don't know what just happened. Bear with me.
Perhaps it would have been easier just to have Vidar take out the guard with an arrow.
There we go. So there's your grid. You are technically at medium range.
How wide is the ditch or whatever?
Yeah, it's a little running stream. It's probably as wide as you are. You could step over it if you had to. It would be a terrain hazard, but you could do it. Otherwise, there's a little bridge right in front of you.
Okay. So, I mean, tactics-wise, Yeah, we can do the arrow as well. I mean, Yasser is always open to suggestions.
I don't know. Needs to be something quiet, relatively, though, so that he doesn't suspect anything and run. If the guard yells out from an arrow, I don't expect he'll be calm about it.
And Gerd says, I thought you wanted me to lead him away.
Yeah, that sounds like the way to go to me.
Yes, good. Let's do that.
Let's do it then.
And let's hide so that we do not give Gerd away.
He kind of limps forward. And he kind of, when he comes here, you kind of see him like kind of move to the side, right? And you see the guard kind of going back. And then you wait and basically kind of looking at kind of what the guard was doing, just kind of pacing around. He doesn't come back. You're not sure what happened. You couldn't see.
Let's go now before they spring a trap or they come back. So Rafik will walk over the bottom river part here.
Yeah, you're good. So why don't you all make a stealth roll?
Okay.
Cool.
How many? Hold on.
A difficulty 1 because
Difficulty
of
1.
because of the nighttime and such.
Oh wait! Oh shit! Hold on. There's momentum. Don't forget that.
True. I mean, the nice thing is we can spend momentum at any point, so if we fail,
I'm
it
going
is
to use
worth
momentum.
rolling and then finding out.
Yeah, I'm going to use a momentum before I roll 3 for stealth.
So yeah, I'll use them. I don't even think I'll.
You're down to 3 momentum.
Nope. Yeah, nope. Let's see. We got one more. Let's see how that goes.
We all keep falling in the ditch. What the?
I'll use a momentum.
Nice.
Okay.
That one momentum, nice.
So as you kind of crossing, you see Korba kind of like look out, and he's like, "Ranvir, where?" And he like sees Adib and Yasir, like, and he's like, he kind of like steps back and looks kind of cautious. What are you doing here?
Your man got robbed.
And he looks and he's like, "What are you talking about?"
He had your guard chasing after the guy who robbed him. We came over the commotion. Ain't that right, Yasser?
Yes.
Go ahead and roll persuade.
Yasser?
Rafik.
Oh man, I was trying to pass the buck.
Uh-huh.
How much momentum we got?
You have
2.
I think after one you spent, it was
2. You have 2.
Two. I might have to use them both for this one because I have 0.
Remember, you can use it at any point, so you can roll and find out if you need it.
Oh, okay. I'll do that then.
Well, I mean, you have to if you're going to like create opportunity or whatever, you have to do that as an immediate momentum spend, right? How you would re-roll like? Yeah, you would have to re-roll, right? I mean, what would you spend the momentum on?
Oh, for the extra die?
Yeah.
Let me double check, because from what I was used to doing, it would normally be just because immediate ones you can do at any point in the turn, and that means also after the roll as well. Because sometimes when you want to use it on another immediate roll.
No. Create opportunity says specifically the decision to purchase these bonus dice must be made before any dice are rolled on the test.
Okay, cool.
So if I use them both, that'd be 4, right?
No, I think.
If you use both the momentum, you would roll 4 dice. Yes.
Wait, hold on. So,
Good.
Ted, in this one momentum per die, or is it like 1, 2, 3?
It's 1 momentum per die.
Oh, perfect. Awesome.
Yeah, it's different than track.
Nice.
All right. So maybe I'll be able to get lucky now.
Yep, go for it.
And Korba is going to use Doom
Ooh,
to add his die.
that's 4 successes.
Yes.
Yep. So 4 successes and okay. So you have 4 successes. He has 3 successes. So let me see here. So
And a complication.
Yeah, and he's in complication. So and I use 2 Doom. So okay. So Korba he's like, all right, and he kind of steps out and he's like, where was that? And he kind of walks forward and he sees Rafik for the first time, or well, I guess he saw him before, but he just kind of.
Nice, yeah. Where was he robbed?
Mm-hmm.
Not sure. We didn't see that part. We just heard commotion.
Where are you talking about? Explain yourself. This is not making much sense.
Yeah, so did you see where it happened at?
I wish I could remember. But someone told me today morning that you have to trade around here.
And he kind of frowns and he's like, I see. And he's like, very well. Sometimes I supply that whore. It's outside of town. You know where that oasis is? And he kind of shrugs. East of Shushan, at an oasis. I haul goods. Once a moon.
When's the next time you're hauling?
Not for a couple weeks.
Is it
So can you explain that? A little confusing. So you said she's at this oasis, Fatima?
Yes.
Okay. Yasser is going to say, you have seen her there?
I have seen her there.
What is she doing there?
He shrugs. I have no idea. She has men with her, that's all I know.
How many men?
He thinks back. Almost a dozen, I would say.
Men from Shushan or from elsewhere?
He shakes his head. I have no idea.
You're a rich man, Korba. 10-1 were the odds today on Teemu. You made a tidy sum, didn't you? Think hard, Korba.
He says, I don't know any of those men. They're no men that hang around these parts. So I would say not from Shim. Or not from Shushan.
Tell me, Korba, what is so special about this woman?
I don't know. I know that she was a priestess. Second in command, if you want to call it that. I would assume that the priestesses of Ishtar don't like to lose their members.
Second in command to what? To the priesthood? Priestesshood?
To the priestess of Shushan, of Ishtar. Yes.
And the priestesses think that they have lost Shushan?
He just shrugs. I have no idea. How would I know these things?
Have we heard of a person called Zeb in town?
Yeah. He's a merchant.
Have you had dealings with him?
Of course.
What kind of a man is this Zeb?
Profit. All he cares about is profit.
I see. Would you know why he would know this, Fatima?
I do not know that he knows Fatima.
Well, brothers, I think Korba has answered all our questions and a trade has been done. Shall we tell this poor man where he can find his gold, where he was robbed?
How much gold was it, Korba?
It was a tidy sum. Why don't you just tell me? I've given you what you wanted.
You guys decide. What is it that you want to do?
Adib's kind of just taking in the situation again as usual. He's curious to see what you guys are going to do here.
Oh, man. What are y'all looking at me for?
That's basically what's happening. Everybody's looking at him like, well, are you going to do it?
Rafiko, look at Yasser.
Yasser will step closer to Korba.
Do you want your souvenir, Yasser?
I believe I do. It's been quite some time since somebody's called me pretty. Quite some time.
With that, Rafik will draw a sword and attempt to take a big old chunk out of Korba.
And Yasser will draw
I'm going to spin Doom to go first.
Nice.
Okay, go for it.
So he sees you looking to draw that sword and immediately makes a movement into medium range. And is trying to get away. So now we're actually technically into combat.
Mm-hmm.
So he moved into medium range and then drew his sword. Or he has a something weapon. Let me see what it is. So we're technically in combat. Let's see here. Yeah, he has like a cudgel, a mace of some sort.
Cool.
So he's trying to run. So you guys can now go.
Sweet. Yeah.
So there's no order here, I guess.
It's
No, you just
whoever
go.
wants to first, I
Yeah.
think.
Yep.
Well, when Korba starts to run, Vidal will shoot.
Nice.
Yeah, you can most certainly do that. And so, what is you have a Shemite bow, right? So he's in range. I'm
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
And what is our momentum pool?
So if you hit status, it'll tell you how much is in your momentum pool.
1. We have 1 right now.
All right. Well, I'm pretty good with the bow, so we'll.
And your difficulty is going to be increased by 2 because you can't really see him. It's dark, very dark.
Okay, then I will use the momentum.
Ooh, 2 complications. Oh.
So,
my.
your bowstring breaks, and you do shoot and hit him. You believe. You hear him like yell out, but yeah, you're. I'm gonna take 1 doom, and then your bowstring breaks. So it would you would need to do a full turn to restring your bow, and that would be your entire action.
And Vidal was letting out an impressive string of profanity in several languages.
Rafik will move up and pursue, but
Yeah.
So you guys can move and attack, right? I mean,
Yeah, he wants to just all move and get our move out the way, or
yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
guess I'll walk over the ditch.
No damage.
Okay.
What is my attack button for
Shouldn't you have a shamshir? One
Shamshir?
shamshir.
Okay, that's it.
It's a broadsword, technically.
Cool. Let me see. I will. Oh, nice. 4 success. I am going to reroll
I can do
2 of those zeros.
Okay. And then there's a damage dice button. You
Yep.
just do that.
There we go. Ooh, an extra 1. Nice.
Alright, now where is mine?
You should have a kapush.
Ted, mine
Do you
says
not?
no
Hold on.
force. Oh, sorry.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. A lot of questions coming in. Just calm down. Okay, so let's do this first, because it might not matter. So Korba has 1 harm already, and Adib just hit him for. Let's see. You hit him for 4.
4. Yeah.
Let me see
And
where
then, of course, I generated. What was my target number?
It was at this. It's just 1, right?
Okay, so 3 momentum from that.
Yeah.
I might spend it on damage.
Yep. So 3 momentum. So if you want to do that, you can.
Let me see. You know what? I'm gonna spend 2 of it on swift action to do a second attack on him.
Swift action. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
You sure can, and your difficulty's bumped by 1 step. So.
Yep.
Difficulty of 2.
Alrighty, Shamshir.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you kind of the first attack, you cut him across the back, and your second takes him in the leg. So how does that look? And he's dead.
Yeah, the extra excess damage. Oh my. Yeah, he brings the thing up with a slash across the back, and as he's kind of up like that, he sweeps the leg with the backhand of it, and it just kind of nearly severs both legs and leaves him sprawled there, bleeding out.
Yeah, when he hits the ground, his leg is just cut so deeply that it's just like, or off probably, and it's just like spurting blood.
Is he still conscious? Because if so, I want to take his tongue while he's still awake.
No, he dies really quickly.
Alright. Well, I'll take his tongue and look at it, yes, sir. Here you go. Here's your memento of being called pretty for once.
Thank you, Rafiq. I knew my brothers would take care of this person.
Good strike, Adib. Good strike.
Adib's wiping his blade off. Yeah, came well enough, didn't it? Although, maybe we should have left the guard. Would have been a bit more interesting, at least.
Adib, as usual, you want to always make things interesting. Now, enough talk. Let's leave this place before anyone else comes here. And Yasser will start walking away.
Okay. So where are you going to try to go here?
Do we want to try going straight to the place, or
Definitely
it's
can.
nighttime, right? So
It is nighttime. You can go the next day too. Zeb's is probably closed at this point.
So at this point we only had Zeb's, and we now know that Fatima is at the Oasis with 12 or so soldiers.
Yeah, it might be worth. I mean, I could see it going either way. Because if info spreads, they might move. You never know. But yeah, either we go back and kind of recoup and then head out, or we take advantage of our circumstance in the night.
Okay, so to time out, just so that I don't want it to look like we're just waddling in this place of peril.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this Oasis is not anywhere close by, correct?
It's you would be able to find out rather quickly that it is a day's walk from Shushan.
Oh yeah, in that case, we're probably best,
Yeah. Let's head back.
Seek mounts.
Rest for the night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you get up the next morning, is your intention to go directly there?
I think.
I don't know.
Might be worth it if we can get the jump on them. Too long and someone might relay what happened.
Yes, I guess so.
Okay.
But that's 12 people against, correct?
True. Based on what we saw at Zeb's, he might be able to do something.
Yeah, so I say maybe talk to Zeb, see what he knows, and then immediately leave, because Zeb's is just more info helps.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to
So-
just tie things off quickly, Yasser in the morning would have woken up a little earlier than usual and found some work for Teemu in the gardens of the Khan.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, you sent him to the orchards. So let's play out that scene, because I think after that I'm going to call it, and then we can pick up a part 2, because we still have a little while to go if you're going to go to Zeb's and all that stuff, which is fine.
Cool.
So let me pull you guys over there. Just figure out where this is. 2 seconds. Okay. Bear with me. So you're going to do this in the morning time, I'm guessing? So, you the morning after, you guys are all rested and whatnot, and Teemu was staying with the other slaves, and you bring him to this orchard, and it's like they have grapes and olives and that kind of thing, and he's like walking forward, pretty pleased, and he's looking kind of excited to do something other than fight.
And Yasser will call out to the guard, "You there?"
And the guard walks up and he's like, "Ah, master, a pleasant surprise to see you here today. What can I do for you?"
"I have a new slave here, and I want him to toil in this orchard."
And he looks.
to,
Yeah, go ahead.
He wishes to serve the Khan by working in the orchard.
And he looks up at this giant slave and he's like, "This one here? If that is what the Khan wishes." But he looks completely surprised and befuddled.
"The Khan has his reasons, as have I. Make sure that he works well, feed him well.
He
Do
bows.
not take any liberties on him, or I will know. Then
No.
you might find yourself among the slaves."
"Of course not, my lord. As you say. You there, big one. Can you pick grapes without crushing them?" "I pick grapes." He steps forward and he looks back at Yasser and he bows and he's like, "Teemu forever in your debt. Keep me away from the blood. The pain."
"Yes, Teemu. Away from the blood and the pain. Work here. Do a good job and serve our Khan, and all will be well." But before you go, I have something for you. Yasser kind of steps up and he says, "Do not worry. This will be the last blood you see." And he hands him the tongue of Korba, and he says, "This here freed you from that place, freed you from the violence. Bury it somewhere in this orchard."
I mean, he steps back very like, I don't want that. I don't want to touch that.
But this one, your freedom. Do as you please with it. And Yasser is going to drop it on the ground and start walking away.
Yeah, he just steps away from it. He is like scared to death of that. But he lets you go, and the guard like watches as you depart, and kind of like shakes his head and begins to instruct Teemu on how to pick the grapes. There, that basket. Put them in there. And you just hear him giving him simple instructions such as that. And I think this is probably a good place to end the session.
Sweet.
We will
Awesome.
reconvene on some weekend to come.
Yeah, that was good.
Very nice.